All right, joining me now, Mike Pompeo, distinguished former Secretary of State, Fox News contributor, author of Never Give an Inch, Fighting for the America I Love. Mike Pompeo, I just want to continue this conversation. Thank you for coming back on the show. We appreciate it. I want to continue this conversation we had with General Keane about the lack of deterrence and what I think is a continued appeasement of Iran. They hit us with their proxies. We don't seem to hit back. We don't hit their command and control centers. We don't hit their training centers. We don't want to take out. It seems like we fear them more than they fear us. I know you've thought and spoken and written about this. I don't understand. There's a war going on. This seems like it's no way to run a war. But what say Mike Pompeo?
Lord, it's great to be back with you. Look, I think the facts speak for themselves. We have Americans held hostage. We have 220 plus people still being held hostage by Iran. 1,400 people killed now just a bit over a month ago, including many, many Americans killed by Iran. And they continue to pound our forces in the Middle East. And so whatever one thinks in theory or at some academic institution, as a practical matter, as a practitioner, someone who has to actually stop evil from roaming the earth, I think it's pretty clear the Biden administration has failed. And whether it's striking an empty ammunition facility or issuing a sharply worded demarche from the State Department, it's simply failing to protect America. And Larry, I think you and General Keane hit it exactly right. When you respond in a way that is beneath the line, that doesn't get that deterrence, you are actually accelerating risk. You are convincing Nasrallah in Lebanon or the leadership, the Houthi leadership, or their proxy forces that are sprinkled throughout the world, preparing themselves to conduct campaigns in Europe or assassination efforts here in the United States. All of those people and the Iranian leadership read that as a green light, and that creates enormous risk of escalation when you fail to respond to serious threats from the Iranian regime. We've seen this for decades, Larry.
You know, Secretary, just last night, last 24 hours or whatever it is, 36 hours, they hit us, we hit them, hitting ammo depots, unmanned ammo depots somewhere in the eastern part of Syria. So we do that, all right? We fly a couple F-15s in, hit them, and they hit back the same night. As I understand the sequence here, that night, last night, they hit back 4 targets. We didn't do a thing, not a thing. I mean, that should have been a big blow with a statement from the president. This is the kind of thing I'm looking for. I think it's the kind of thing that our former boss would do. I think it's the kind of thing you yourself would do. I mean, I'm just losing patience because, Mike, here's the thing. It's not just, Israel's security is important. Our friends in the Middle East, very important. But this is about American security, isn't it? This is really fundamentally about American national security.
No, you nailed it. This is about protecting Americans. It's certainly about supporting our partner, our friend, the rightful homeland of the Jewish people there in Israel. But this is about American security. The Iranians make pretty clear, Larry, they have no intention of stopping with the little Satan there in Israel. They're coming after us.
Right.
And to the extent we are unprepared to defend the things that matter, we create an enormous amount of risk for the American people here in the homeland. I think everybody saw the reporting over the last 48 hours where there was a plot taken down in Brazil. Hezbollah operatives, the Israeli Mossad and the Brazilian intelligence services took it down. This will continue to expand. Iran will continue to press, just like they always do, until the thrust is made. Until there is a real cost imposed on the regime, the Iranians will continue to expand their footprint and continue to not only build out their terror operations, but, Larry, we should never forget, they use those terror operations as an umbrella to continue to build out their nuclear program. That is, they think, well, if they won't come after us here, or we will threaten them with our terror proxies in order for us to continue our march down the path towards a nuclear weapon. And today, Larry, they sold 3.5 million, Iranians sold 3.5 million barrels of oil on the open market and received cash for it.
Yes.
That is crazy to permit that to happen.
I was going back all your statements about sanctions and 2018, 2019, 2020, there it is. It's not being observed. It's not being enforced. You're exactly right. 3.5 million plus. They're picking up foreign exchange. Money is the coin of the realm in terrorism, as it always is, and we're not doing a thing about it. And the last one, we're always running out of time, Mike. But what peeved me also, all right, you and I we're pals. Obama saying everybody's complicit in this. Everybody's complicit in this. I'm sorry. I beg to differ. He started this thing with all the opening up of the money, hundreds of billions of dollars that he forked over, cash, gold, unfrozen assets, rearming, and then Biden took it to the next level, unfortunately. I mean, really, this didn't have to happen because we had interrupted that. The Trump administration had interrupted this Iranian attack.
There's a reason this didn't happen on our watch, Larry. Could be good luck, could be good fortune, could be the Lord, maybe all of those things. But the Iranians understood that we were serious about protecting America. And you're right. When I heard President Obama say that, it's infuriating for him to include all of us. This was an Obama administration appeasement policy that created the context against which we now have 1,400 dead Israelis. It's tragic. President Obama should be ashamed of himself for saying everyone's complicit when, in fact, it was his set of policies that created the backdrop against which this could happen. And frankly, his set of ideas and policies that are on American campuses today that are causing this incredible anti-Semitic hatred to now flourish in a way that I think neither of us ever expected could happen here in America, Larry.
All right. Mr. Secretary, thank you. As always, well said. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry. Have a
very,
good
very
weekend,
much.
sir.
All right, you too.